Hey guys, it is Friday. You know what that means. Time for the end of the week wrap up. Did a lot of work on bobs this week. Let's take a look in here. We built a pedal assembly that allows us to use a Hydro Boost. And because the space limited, we mounted that up under the dash. You can access to fill the master through the glove box, but it gives you a right angle pedal assembly, which is modified to fit. And this way, the assembly allows the use of a right angle when it puts a Hydro Boost. And the way this truck is set up, the steering box is directly under the seat. So the power steering lines are going to have to run from the Hydro Boost to the power steering box and then back to the pump. So it allows me to run through the console to get all that done. But that took a little bit of time, but we got that all set up. So doing good there. Back here, made some big progress on the Barracuda. We got the motor out and repainted it, painted the transmission with all the little detail, cleaned everything up and clear coated the fuel pump there, so it stayed nice and cast looking. And so that's all detailed and painted and ready to go. Transmission is all painted and ready to go. I'm waiting for a flex plate, and then I'll get the torque converter on. We'll get that installed. We got the rear end in, the rear sway bar. So that's completed. We've got the pedal assembly has been blasted and installed, the wiper transmission, wiper motor. Got a lot of other stuff that I need for the motor, like motor mounts and so on, all blasted and painted, and got those all ready to go. Transmission cross members blasted, painted, ready to go. So making some big headway on that. The Camaro this is the red 69. It's all ready for a coat of primer, and then we'll get that blocked and painted. And as far as Brian Wolf's Camaro, that's up here. No, Camaro's back there, but parts I'm working on are up here. So we got this, the engine, transmission, flywheel, pressure plate, everything pulled out. We're going to go ahead and get that mated and get that installed. However, let me show you this motor. This flywheel setup is quite the ordeal. But now they got the motor out of the box here to let you get a good look at it. It's basically an LS3. It's a Whipple supercharger. It's 1,020 horsepower, 905 foot-pounds of torque. So this motor is an absolute animal. Now, Brian has spared no expense. Bought the best of just about everything. It's built by Wagner Automotive. Ring Brothers did the paintwork on the motor. But beautiful setup. So today I got it out and I was going to put together the motor and the transmission. And this is all QuickTime performance bell housing. Has a triple disc hydraulic throwout bearing. It's a Tremec, which is good for about 1,200 foot-pounds of torque. So Brian spared no expense. This is going to be a pretty high-end build. But when I got all this out this morning, started reading some of the technical sheets on it, and turned out to be a little bit bigger of an ordeal than I had thought. For example, the engine cradle is in the way of putting the bell housing on. The way this bell housing is set up, apparently when you put these together, sometimes the dowel pins offsets the center line of where the transmission sits. And you have to measure all that, and they sell offset dowel pins. So if it's necessary to move the bell housing over a little bit, that can be done. But in order to get all that put together, I have to remove this thing, and I don't want to leave it hanging all weekend. So I chose to wait till Monday to get started on this. But the bell housing, and then this is a triple disc clutch, and it uses a hydraulic throwout bearing, basically. And this also has to be installed and measured in order to shim the throwout bearing. So all that has to be put together, measure it out, figure out what shims you have to use. And again, it's a little bit of an ordeal, so I'm gonna wait till Monday to attack that. But real neat setup. Um, got all stainless steel headers for it. I mean, he's really spared no expense. This thing's beautiful. Kind of looking forward to put it in there. But that's where we're at on Brian's. So we are making progress. Had a good week this week. So basically, I should have the flex plate next week sometime. So we'll get this motor and transmission put in, and that'll get us moving along with that. And we're still waiting for some other parts, and they're slowly trickling in. So as that stuff shows up, we'll make progress on that. But everything in the shop's moving along. Got that extra space in here now, so I mean it's definitely been helpful. So with there's just two of us here, so I mean we stay at it, but we're getting there. But as usual, you guys have a good weekend. Enjoy yourself. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we will see you next week.